Mark Holmes and the Cowboys are almost in complete collapse, looking for any excuse to blow it up. I gotta tell you, I'm starting to believe. I'm starting to believe in the Flying Frenchman. Dallas still stinks. You like the way it kicked Dingbat here, and I gotta tell you, I'm starting to become a believer. I'm a believer in the Flying Frenchman, Cooper Dejean. My opinion about him is greatly changed over the course of the last few weeks. It's gone from not wanting to draft him in the first round to being okay if we draft him in the first round to being flat out mother humping excited if we drafted him in the first round. Pause. No Diddy. Because that's what you're supposed to say now. No Diddy, apparently. But that's the truth. And we're going to get into Cooper Dejean in a minute. But before we do that, I got to tell you about this great news that came out last night. Right before we were doing the Philly Shakedown podcast, and Mark Holmes was doing his little fireside, crying like a baby, Cowboys blow the whole thing up, boo-hoo-hoo. Right before all that, this came out. Tom Pelissero says this. The NFL informed clubs today it has revised the uniform policy to allow teams a third helmet design per source. This expansion was offered to the teams that were going through the redesign process for the 2024 season and is now open to all clubs for the 2025 season. Bingo! Checkmate! Bango! Pause no Diddy! Not titty, I said Diddy! Alright, but I love this. This is what I've been waiting for. Because why? Because Philly 500 knows that the Eagles need a major overhaul to their uniform. It is time. We haven't done anything really since the 90s. It's time to change things up. Now, I would love to be Kelly Green full time. I think Kelly Green looks way better than Midnight Green. And if you look at the Eagles' alternate jerseys, they really didn't update the helmet. Like, I think you could make the helmet look a lot more modern and futuristic using the same color scheme. But regardless, whether you want Kelly Green or Midnight Green, they need a new design. All right, and my plan is simple. I want the Eagles to go back to wearing green and green helmets at home. Kelly Green, Midnight Green, whatever they decide to revamp it. Then on the road, I want to see white helmets with the white uniform. And then the alternate won't be the full-time Kelly Green. That'll be my home jersey if we have it. But I would like to see the alternate being black with Kelly Green. I think that would look better than just the all black. The all black helmets weren't that impressive to me. I don't think I could tell as much. I almost kind of like the midnight green and the black helmet. So I think like a Kelly Green with black would look really, really good. But the Eagles have now the opportunity to really do it and do it right. And I do believe, and I said this before, I thought it would be this year. I do believe the Eagles are going to have a major revamp coming at some point. It's time. They haven't updated their jerseys since like the 90s, okay? So they definitely need to do it. So I was very, very happy about that. Now, I was laughing my ass off last night. Laughing my ass off because Mark Holmes is crying like a baby. He's a baby. He is crying about the Cowboys and they should trade everybody and get rid of everybody. He sees Josh Allen getting signed what's his face? Parsons not getting signed. He sees what happens to the quarterbacks around the league and Dak Prescott not getting signed. Now he sees DeVonta Smith potentially about to get a new contract. They're getting close. And CeeDee Lamb isn't. It's so funny to me. The Dallas Cowboys cannot have one star player in which they can just give a contract for nice and smoothly. They fight and they drive all their stars crazy. I think that team is on the verge of epic collapse. But Jerry Jones, the guy is 9,802 years old. What do you expect? He's lost his mind. Matter of fact, happy birthday to Jerry Jones. It is his birthday today. He's 900 903 years old. Congratulations to him. He just turned 9,804. He's getting so old it's hard to keep track. 9,804. 908,003 before, then it was 4, now it's 9,806 years old. Happy birthday, Jerry Jones. It's got to be tough being 9,807 years old, but he's driving his team crazy at 9,900 years old. Not 9,900, 9,809 years old. See that? I can't even talk. It's so early in the morning. 9,010 years old. Jerry Jones. He's an old man at 9,011 years old. But anyways, as I was saying, Mark is losing it because the DeVonta Smith extension is a huge threat to the Cowboys. It's a huge threat because every time these receivers make money, and it definitely resets the market. Yes, Justin Jefferson's going to get probably more than anybody. CeeDee Lamb will be up there too. But DeVonta Smith is going to make enough that it's going to cost Dallas even more money. You remember, and somebody pointed this out in the Shakedown podcast last night, the Cowboys waited on Dak Prescott's contract. The Eagles were able to sign Wentz, and it actually cost Dallas more. Now they're paying the price. So you want to get these contracts over and is done as soon as possible. That's the truth. And I think that it's so funny that the Cowboys are on the brink. They are living on the edge, man. They are on the brink of complete and utter failure. And Mark Holmes knows it. Now, as I was saying at the beginning of this video, Cooper Dejean, the flying Frenchman. A few weeks ago, I would have said to you, I don't want him in the first round. No, I'll stay away. And I started watching him play and stuff, and I said, yeah, all right, he's not bad. Maybe in the first round I'd be okay. All right, I wouldn't be upset, but it's not what I want. And it's going from that to I think if the Eagles took him, I think it would be a great draft pick. As crazy as it is, because I don't see Cooper Dejean as just an outside corner. Now, I'm not saying that he can't play outside corner. I'm sure he can. But I think that he is a bigger role. I think he can be a guy who can play all over. I think he could play in the slot. I think he could play on the outside. I think he could play safety. And I really like the idea that he's a safety, to be honest with you. But he can play all over. And I think a good defensive coordinator, would love to use his skill set as like a Swiss Army knife. I think there's a lot of things that you can do with him. And the Eagles, they need defensive playmakers. We just lost our best defensive playmaker in Hassan Reddick. Whether people want to admit it or not, he was our best playmaker we had on defense. We need weapons on defense. The Eagles look at Saquon Barkley not as a running back. They look at him as a weapon, an offensive weapon. I think Cooper Dejean is a defensive weapon. I am actually starting to come over to the side of, not only would I be okay with the Eagles drafting him, he's probably one of my top 3-4 guys I would want the Eagles to take in the first round. I think about him with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, both back there, man. I think just all over the place. I think it would be two natural-born playmakers, two guys that have a nose for the ball, and I think it would be a great defense. And that's what the Eagles need. They need weapons on defense. They need playmakers on defense. They need game changers on defense. They don't have enough of it. I think Cooper Dejean, if he lives up to his ability, I believe he is that kind of weapon, that kind of playmaker. And I think if you're given the opportunity, you got to do it. Now, who else do I like in this draft? If I had to guess, and this is an interesting draft because I don't really truly hate anybody. Usually there's guys I can't stand and don't want the Eagles to get. And then there are guys that I'm like, oh man, these are the guys I really want. To me, there's a lot of guys and there's a lot of ways to go. I would be really excited and happy if the Eagles go offensive line. I really think it's a great idea to go offensive line if the right guy's there. So to me, like Troy Fautanu, I would love to see the Eagles get him. Verse, a pass rusher, I would love to see the Eagles get him. Quinyon Mitchell, my favorite cooner in this draft. And then I consider Cooper Dejean more of just a playmaker, a Swiss Army knife. Cooper Dejean would be there. So these are the guys that I have no problem with. And there's just so many ways they could go. And the other guy, I'll tell you. So let me smooth this out and clean this up. Troy Fautanu, Quinyon Mitchell, Verse, Dejean, and then Jackson Powers Johnson. Those are like the 5 guys. If we could get, I'm good. Okay, Fautanu, Mitchell, Verse, Dejean, and Powers Johnson. Those 5 guys are probably my first round targets that I would like. And I am becoming a big believer in Cooper Dejean, because I believe if the Eagles were to draft him, which I don't think is likely because I don't think he'll be there, but if they were to draft him, he's being drafted as a weapon. And I like the idea of that. And I think the Eagles are going to try to trade up. I think the likelihood that the Eagles don't trade up is very rare. This cat's going crazy. What is wrong with you? But I think the Eagles are going to trade up. We've heard the Jets trying to possibly move out of their spot. 10? We heard about 15. I think if the Eagles could get anywhere around 15, 16, they're sitting pretty, and they could go any which way. To me, get the best players available. But the Flying Frenchman, I got to tell you, I'm thinking more and more I watch him, the more I think that the Eagles may need to go out and get him, because I think he gives you something that you desperately need on defense. He gives you playmaking ability. He's an absolute weapon. Just my opinion. We'll see what happens. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat, and remember, it's how we vision. We're all just living in it.
Oh, God. No. I want to be like the Eagles.